Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning, people. Hope you're all well. Yes, we're back. The channel is back. I want to say a huge, massive thank you. And thank you to all of you guys for tuning in to the whole full 27-hour podathon that was simulcasted on this channel. Parts 2, 3, and 4 were simulcasted on this channel along with Lead Judges TV for our absolutely fantastic cause. Of course, I have Mike from the Gooners Pod, who I said I would put the Gooners v Cancer podathon on for. So please make sure that you do go back and donate if you did not already. It's still time for you to do that at goonersvcancer.com for a very, very, very good cause. There were some incredible guests lined up yesterday and the day before, with Henry Winter from Alan Smith right the way through to Perry Groves, Lee Dixon, and some other Arsenal legends. So please make sure that you go and check that out. We also had Arsenal Vision, we had had Gunner Blog, had James McNicholas, we had obviously Arsenal Arsecast as well. Literally so many podcasters and of course ex-players. So please make sure if you're a Gooner that you go and check that one out and make sure that you donate. But we're back today, this morning. We are back for transfer news, and there's quite a lot of it, to be fair, because the last couple of days has been very, very busy. Not so much for Arsenal. Arsenal was still sat there wondering what's going on, but we have got news on Eddie. We have got news on Mikel Merino. We are going to talk about Manchester United and Chelsea, and we're going to talk a little bit about Manchester City as well. So please make sure you do me a favour. Get yourself locked in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please make sure that you hit join as the new member if you would like to, but make sure you've got that notification bell on. And if we can get up to 24k subscribers as quick as we got to 23, I'll be very, very happy. So thank you all for getting us up to 23k finally. We are sneaking closer and closer towards the 30k as a community, and it's all thanks to you guys. So please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, which are free. Once you've done that, please make sure you check out Manscaped. You can either go to manscaped.com and use the code FTM20, or if you click the link in the pinned comments, it will take you straight there, and 20% will come off of the Beard Hedger once you select it. So please make sure that you go and show them some love as well, because that deal is not on for much longer. Big up to all of you that are in the house tonight. I've got a show at 8 p.m, which is going to be our first weekend preview as we build up to the Arsenal Wolves game, as we build up to West Ham Villa, and as we build up to Manchester City Chelsea. They're the 3 games we're going to be selected with 6 of us on the panel. It's got myself and Graham Brooks. We've got Martin from Mancunian Way. We've got Dan from Chelsea. We've got Lawless, and we've got Billy. So it's going to be a very heated, spicy one tonight at 8 p.m. So please make sure you set your reminders, hit the notification bell, because this one will get very, very heated and spicy tonight. So please make sure you are there at 8 p.m. Let's start with the transfer news. Of course, we're going to start with Manchester United, who at the moment are looking at offloading some players. And the first player they are saying is willing and up for sale is Christian Eriksen. Now, we know as 32, he's coming to the end of his footballing career, but he's still got some quality. He's free to find a new club, Manchester United say this month, and he could leave in a cut price deal. What does that mean? How much would he go for? Christian Eriksen could be interested in a move away from Manchester United. And if I'm honest with you, I see him going abroad, if I'm honest. I don't see him staying in the Premier League. I think his time here is done. I actually think he's been a very, very good player for both Tottenham and for Manchester United. I think he's still got some quality. And if you go back to what happened to him only a couple of years ago, you really will believe that it is a story and a half to tell. Manchester United looking not just only at Christian Eriksen to offload, but also Napoli are showing interest in Scott McTominay. Now, he is a player who they have seemed to want quite a lot of money for. Fulham were interested at one stage. Doesn't look like they are now. £40 million. Then it went down to £30 million. Fulham willing to pay 20. Looks like Napoli are trying to get him for a cut price deal as well. Manchester United may have to cut their losses here, because it does not look like they're going to get anywhere near the money that they are expected or believe that he's worth. So it could be interesting to see what happens with Scott McTominay. So that's 2 players from Manchester United that look like they're out, but there is going to be another one, but we don't know where. PSG is the club that Sancho has got his heart set on. However, they are calling interest, and they are also calling interest in Victor Osimhen. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean they've got other targets? Does it mean that their wages are too high? Does it mean that they can't afford either of them or both of them? I'm not so sure. But Jadon Sancho, I do not see staying at Manchester United, but I do not see where he's going to go. I thought PSG would have been the club that would have been interested in taking him, but it looks as if now they're not interested. So it might be that he stays put at Manchester United until another club come in. Now, I'm surprised there's not a few English clubs in for him. I'm not saying that Arsenal and Manchester City and even, Liverpool should be looking at Jadon Sancho, but I don't know why Newcastle aren't potentially looking at this. They could do with a winger to replace Miguel Almiron. Think that could be a good deal for Newcastle, potentially to try and get the best out of him under Eddie Howe. It's a manager that I think is good at man managing. So where will Jadon Sancho go? Well, we have no idea at the moment. Another player they are calling their interest in and looking at other targets is Frankie de Jong. Now, if I'm an Arsenal board member or transfer negotiator, I'm going all out for Frankie de Jong. I think he is available and Arsenal should 100% get him. Looks like Manchester United were interested, but at the moment are calling their interest. I think Barcelona will probably want in the region of 50 to 60 million from what we've been told. It might rise higher than that, but certainly Barcelona are a bit of a skint club from what we're told, and they need some money. So let's see. I don't know how true that is. I find it bizarre that Barcelona, the size of them, can be skint, but certainly if they want to sign players, I believe they're going to have to sell some as well as keep buying them. So for me, this would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United or Arsenal. Is he going to go? Is he going to be a player that leaves Barcelona? A lot of people will talk about his wages. Yeah, we know that they're high, but we know why they're high, right? And they won't be as high if he's to come to the Premier League because it's a Barcelona thing with COVID. So if he's going to come to England, then he will not be on £700,000 a week. So that will be a very interesting move. Where is he going to go? Is he going to stay at Barcelona, or are they going to move him on? And Manchester United and Arsenal may go in for him. There's no links to Arsenal whatsoever, but he would be one of my preferred options. So that's Frankie de Jong. Another player who's definitely leaving but is not going to Manchester United is Youssouf Fofana. Now, there was a lot of rumours and reports suggesting that Manchester United were green-lighted this one. They were going to go in for him. This is such a good signing, I'll tell you this now. But it's AC Milan who have got their guy from Monaco, Youssouf Fofana, a player I really rate, 24 years old, perfect box-to-box midfielder, and one that AC Milan will do very, very well with. I believe is a top talent. But I'm so glad that Manchester United didn't get him because it's one that I really did not want to see happening. Instead of Frankie de Jong and Youssouf Fofana, it looks like the one that Manchester United want is the Sheffield United or ex-Sheffield United and Burnley currently midfielder Sander Berge. Now, I think he's a good player. Is he Manchester United quality? That's a huge question mark for me. But the club like him. They would like to sign him. And it looks like he's available. And it looks like he'll be a cheaper option. So are Manchester United going to be getting this one across the line? It looks as if he is the guy that Manchester United would like to sign. So ongoing talks over the 26-year-old Norwegian midfielder Sander Berge, according to Sky Sports. Manchester United keeping a very strong eye on this one. The other player that Manchester United are looking at, and a player that would love to join Manchester United, is free agent Marcos Alonso. Now, this is not a player that I think is top quality, if I'm honest with you. I think his days are numbered. I think he's definitely a player who's done well over the years, but according to Fabrizio Romano via Give Me Sport, former Chelsea and Spain defender Marcos Alonso, who's now 34 years old, would love to join Manchester United after becoming a free agent by leaving Barcelona. Is this one going to get done? Manchester United have got currently two left backs. They can play Luke Shaw, Malacia there, but they've also got Lisandro Martinez who can play at left back and Mazraoui, who is a player who I think can play on both right back and left back. But Marcos Alonso is a player that Manchester United are looking at. I just do not understand this one. Find it very bizarre. But if they need a left back, he's going to have the experience. But is he going to have the legs? I don't think so. Moving slightly segue towards Chelsea, a player who is definitely apparently available, but for a price, is Madueke. Now, there's a lot of rumours suggesting that Madueke would be wanted by a number of clubs, Newcastle being interested. I even saw a link with Arsenal the other day also. So that one could be very interesting. But where are Where is he going to go? The 22-year-old English winger is apparently available to leave Chelsea, according to the Athletic. But Chelsea have set an asking price of £60 million for Madueke, which I think is a lot of money for a player who hasn't really proved anything yet. Is a player that hasn't really settled at Chelsea. He's definitely not one that has settled and got first team football at the club. Would he be a good signing for someone like Arsenal? Who would you rather have, Sancho or Madueke? Two players that need a move, two players that need first team football. I mean, Newcastle and Arsenal need a right winger. Liverpool talking about right wingers after Salah not really having one. What happens? What happens? Where does he go? Or does he stay at Chelsea? I mean, Chelsea, let's be real, they're looking at bringing in wingers galore. They've got Pedro Neto now to add to Mudryk and Sterling. Are they going to want to play Madueke as well? Well, you can see why he's potentially linked with a move away, can't you? That's for sure. Let's stick with Chelsea because let's talk about the elephant in the room as far as Chelsea are concerned. A few players this involves now. What is happening with Conor Gallagher? Well, he's been dumped, mate. He's in limbo, and there is no understanding of what happens next. They are trying their very, very best to get a deal done with Atletico Madrid, and they want João Felix to come the other way. Negotiations are going to be ongoing here. I do not understand what is happening here. It sounds an absolute mess. But Conor Gallagher is definitely not wanted by Chelsea. And I don't think he wanted to leave. He's in limbo. He must be thinking, why am I getting treated like this when there's other players like Mudryk who have been worse than him? There's other players like Sterling who have been worse than him. There's other players like, who else are we looking at? Enzo has been worse than Conor Gallagher, but none of these are treated like this. Absolutely shocking. But it looks like João Felix is the guy that they want, and they want to do some form of swap deal. Obviously, Atletico Madrid, with the signing of Julian Alvarez, no longer lead João Felix, which means that potentially he could part ways and go to Chelsea. Somebody else that could be out of the way is Lukaku. Looks like he's going to be out the door at Chelsea. Chelsea are willing to drop their asking price so that he can go to Napoli. Conte really wants him. Lukaku really wants Napoli and Conte. And it looks like it will probably be a deal which could be worth around about £25 million, they're saying, maybe even a bit lower than that. And he looks like he's going to go. Now, what does that mean for Victor Osimhen? Now, it looks like Napoli are willing to sell him, but only for the right price. And Chelsea are very much interested. Now, there is definitely not 100% concrete proof, but Victor Osimhen is not too sure about Chelsea. Now, PSG were interested, agreed personal terms, but have called their interest due to the fee that Napoli are demanding. I don't think Chelsea will have any problems paying money. They don't care. They are definitely going to get done by FFP if this carries on. But if they do go in for Osimhen and it is big money, we know something's up. But there are reports that Chelsea want him on loan and they want an option to buy. Now, Osimhen, I don't believe wants that. I think wants permanent move. I think Napoli would prefer him to get a permanent move. But this PSR is definitely proving difficult for clubs, isn't it? Because no one is going in big this transfer window. So let's see what happens. Victor Osimhen is a player that I like for Arsenal. He's definitely not my number one target, but he's certainly a player that I think would do well. But if Chelsea are looking to get him, they would like him on loan. Now, does Osimhen want to go to Chelsea and play European Conference League football, or does he want a Champions League club? I think PSG is somewhere that he definitely set more of his sights on, also Arsenal. But it looks as if Arsenal and PSG are not likely to buy him. So it is going to potentially be Chelsea that could be in for Victor Osimhen. So let's see if that's going to happen. I think there's an opportunity for Osimhen to leave Napoli, but is it going to be Chelsea? It would be a very, very good signing, I have to say, if it was to happen for Chelsea. It's a sort of signing that Chelsea absolutely need, in my opinion, because they've got the almost there players. You know, they've got enough of those players that will be there one day type players. For me, I honestly don't believe there's an opportunity for them to be going and getting more kids. They've got enough. They have got enough kids. It's absolutely crazy. It really is. But there we go. Osimhen would be a good signing. Will it happen? Massive question mark. Let's talk about this guy, shall we? He's at PSG now, was at Valencia in his younger days. Carlos Soler. He is are wanted by West Ham. They have inquired about a move for the PSG and Spain midfielder. He's 27 years old, can play on the wide areas as well as in the middle. Started very well at Valencia, hasn't really continued that over at PSG, but West Ham are interested. Now, West Ham are having an unbelievable summer. If they were to get him on top of what they're already looking at, saw yesterday reports that they were also looking at Tammy Abraham. West Ham are really trying to bulk up their situation, aren't they? Imagine having Tammy Abraham and Fulcrook and Sola, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, the new guy they brought in on a free, as well as their width now, which is Bowen, Kudus and Somerville. They're starting to build a team, West Ham. Soufal and Wan-Bissaka, Emerson. In the middle, they've got Todibo and Kilman to add now to Mavropanos and Aguerd. And then they've got Areola in goal. West Ham, what are they going to do? I mean, listen, if Lopetegui actually does gel him together, like, let's be real, he manages to gel West Ham, they've got a great chance of doing very well. I'm just not sure I rate Lopetegui high enough. That's all I'm saying. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the next rumour, which is Jens Kejuste. He's the Napoli midfielder that, let's be real, Brentford, Everton and Ipswich are all fighting for at the moment. He's a player who's definitely available, that's for sure, and they're trying to get him on loan, these teams. Looks like Everton are the ones at the moment this morning that are discussing a possible loan move. It looks as if Ipswich and Brentford have been previously interested and are still fairly interested in the deal. 25-year-old Swedish midfielder, and he is highly thought of and highly wanted by the Premier League clubs. So let's see where this player decides to go. Also, we have the PSV player Olivier Boscagli. He is wanted by Brighton. Brighton are looking at going for the centre-back, who I believe can play full-back as well. They've had an improved offer for the 26-year-old who played for France at youth level, but it's still not enough for PSV to accept. So Brighton are after this player, somebody they do want and probably do need as well. If you look at the backup situation at Brighton in that area, you can see why they are going for him. A player they have managed to get, though, is, of course, the Leeds forward, Jorginho Rutter. I believe it's around about 35-40 million pounds. Leeds have been gutted. They've only really got Nonto left, haven't they? Somerville's gone now. Rutter has gone. Obviously, Archie Gray has gone. They really needed to come up and they needed to keep those players, Leeds, if they wanted them to be given a chance. However, it looks like Rutter has left and he is on his way to Brighton. Now, that is a hell of a lot of money. And I'm going to come on to Eddie in a minute. But £40 million for him, and we're going to talk about a striker in a minute who's also gone for a lot of money. Maybe you can see why Arsenal are holding out for Eddie Nketiah. But doesn't look like anyone wants Eddie Nketiah. But we'll come on to that in a minute. Let's move to Ipswich Town, shall we? Because they've signed Calvin Phillips on loan. I'll tell you what, I'm tipping Ipswich to stay up. I think Kieran McKenna is moving mad here. I think what he has done in bringing in players like Amari Hutchinson, like Jacob Greaves, they've all obviously gone for Liam Delap up top. They have gone for Muric, the goalkeeper from Burnley from last year, who Burnley fans really rated when he came in for James Trafford. Ipswich Town are trying to get a squad and trying to give himself a right good go. And I think Calvin Phillips, to be fair, is going to bring in a lot of experience. And if he can stay fit, can give them absolutely what they need. Now, when he went to West Ham, I never really understood that one. I didn't think he was a David Moyes type player. And I also didn't believe that he was going to be able to keep himself fit for that one. That is my big question mark. If he can keep himself fit, it's perfect for someone like Ipswich Town who are trying to fight relegation. This is absolutely perfect. So this could be a really interesting signing. Very interested to see how he gets on. I wish him well at Ipswich Town. I absolutely love Ipswich. Be a fantastic thing if Ipswich could stay in this Premier League. They are a club, absolutely massive club as well, by the way. But they're also looking at Broa on loan. Ipswich Town are trying to get Armando Broa on loan from Chelsea. If they manage to get him on loan as well, wow. Imagine Ipswich Town with Broa and Liam Delap, with Calvin Phillips. They've obviously still got Sam Morsey. They've got Mari Hutchinson that they've signed. They've got Jacob Greaves now at the back. They've got Ben Johnson at fullback. They've still got Leif Davis at left back. Oh, bless me. And they've obviously got their goalkeeper now from Burnley. Ipswich are definitely making moves. And do you know what? Big up to Kieran McKenna. I really hope and pray that we do get Ipswich to stay in the Premier League. I would love it. Let's move to Newcastle because they have seen a third bid rejected by Crystal Palace for Mark Gare. He thought to be in the region of £60 million. I don't know how much more Crystal Palace are going to want for this player, if I'm honest, because I thought that was a fair deal. Yes, I understand that Ben White went for 50 million 3 years ago, so 60 million is definitely a little bit of a question mark. But for me, I thought that was fair. He's definitely not worth much more than 65 to 70 tops. Come on. I mean, how good is this player? He's great, 23-year-old, but he is not a world-class defender. How much is a world-class defender now? If 70 million is Guehi, what's a world-class defender? 150? It's absolutely mad. It really is. Makes me wonder if Saliba was available for Real Madrid. We've got to be talking about 200 million, ain't we? Yeah, he's 70. Absolutely mad. But there we go. I think he'll end up going to Newcastle, and I think it'll be a really good signing. I think Newcastle should 100% go for him. I think he'd be perfect next to Sven Botman. I actually think that's a brilliant partnership. I don't know what's happening at fullback with Newcastle. Obviously, they've got Lewis Hall and Livramento still. I think they need another one there, if I'm honest, with Kieran Trippier's future in doubt. But for me, I really do fancy Newcastle to have a good season. I really do. I was on Mancunian Way last night talking about how I believe they will get Champions League football. Obviously, I got absolutely rinsed on here for saying that on This Is London on Wednesday night by Deji and Don and Lawless, who all, of course, want me to put Spurs, West Ham and Chelsea in the top four, which I'm not going to do, by the way. So that's why they are not happy with me. But I think Newcastle 1 game a week. They get another couple of players. They get Guehi and maybe a winger. I think they've got a great chance. I really do. For 1 game a week. Let's see what happens. Who else have we got here? Oh, yes. This is a nice segue into the Arsenal section because Evan Nilsson has gone to Bournemouth. Another player who has been signed for £40 million. That means that Solanke at 65, Evan Nilsson at 40, Rutter at 40. You can see why a lot of Arsenal fans are up in ears when I said we should have accepted the Eddie bid. Well, it looks now like Bournemouth do not need Eddie because they've got their guy. So where is Eddie Nketiah going to go? This is a really good signing, by the way, for Bournemouth. He's a player who definitely knows where the goal is. He's a player who's exciting, Brazilian forward. I think he's around about 24 years old. I don't think he's too old. So for me, this is a very good signing for Bournemouth. They've lost Solanke, but they've added Evan Nilsson. He's going to be now their target man and their number 9. So Bournemouth do no longer need Eddie Nketiah. What is going to happen to Eddie? Well, there are reports this morning suggesting that Nottingham Forest are interested in Eddie Nketiah. Of course, they do have, what's his name? Taiwo Awoniyi and Chris Wood. But Eddie Nketiah is a player that Nottingham Forest are definitely looking at now. I imagine some Premier League clubs will start a bidding war. But if Arsenal do not get more than the 27 million offered by Marseille, it will look very, very embarrassing. And I'd be stunned if many Premier League clubs are going to go higher than 25. So let's be real. Eddie Nketiah, what is happening here? Have Arsenal messed this one up? Has Edu messed this one up? Should we have got more than 27 million for Eddie? Or should we accepted the 27 million and allowed him to go to Marseille? Well, some people will say, look at it different ways. They'll say, well, we've done absolutely the right thing in rejecting it because he's worth a hell of a lot more. What we could do is look at it 2 different ways and ask the question to Edu, why can't you get more than that when Evan Nilsson goes for 40 million and the championship striker from Leeds goes for 40 million? Rutter, what is happening there? Question marks. The other one you could look at it is, why does nobody want Eddie? Maybe he isn't worth that much. So you've got to have the teams that are willing to pay the money. And if the teams aren't willing to pay the money for Eddie Nketiah, we ain't going to be able to sell him. So we've got to be looking at that realistically now. We just have to. And I just believe personally that we're in a situation that we are praying that Premier League clubs bid for Eddie Nketiah, but we might not have the amount of clubs that are in for him. So that one could be very interesting. A lot of people in the chat suggesting that it could be Leicester that go in for him. It could be that it's Forest as well as Leicester, and there's a bit of a bidding war. But Leicester were interested, as we remember, in Reece Nelson, and that's gone very, very quiet. Now, I think it's because Arsenal were asking and demanding for a lot more money. I think Arsenal, they see Eddie and Nelson similarly to Smith Rowe, around about 25 to 35 million. And I just do not think they're going to be worth that. They haven't played enough football. They haven't looked good enough when they've played first-team football. They're players that I think if we was to get £15 million offered to us for Nelson, I would accept it. And if we're to get £25 million accepted for Eddie, I would accept it. Just get them gone, bring the 40 million in, add that to the 35 you've got from Smith Rowe, and go and put that 70 million pounds on a attacker. That is my that's my thoughts on it, really. But some people are like, thank God you don't run Arsenal. We'd be skint. I mean, embarrassing, really. Big up to Lucas, man, new member of the channel. Please make sure that you do click join to become a member of the channel if you would like to. It costs a very, very minimal fee monthly, and it does make a hell of a lot of difference to the channel and the content and production of it. So, Lucas, thank you so much for that. Welcome to the show. He says, welcome, love the show and the channel. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, bro. And thank you so much for becoming a member. If anyone would like to support the channel in that way, then please make sure you do. Let's see how many likes we've got, people. We're on 366 people that are in here. And at the moment, we've got 71 likes. Come on. We can do a hell of a lot better than that, I am sure. That is not good enough as far as we're concerned. We want to get up to an over 150 likes. So please make sure you hit that like button, and please make sure that you show your love and support by subscribing to the channel, which of course is absolutely free to do. We've hit 23k now, people, and it's a free button. So let's see if we can get up to 30 pretty quickly. If all of you hit that button now, like and subscribe, please. That's all I'm asking. 2 buttons to hit. It always amazes me that you have to do that. And people, when I'm asking, some people are going, nah, I ain't doing that. And you think, really? Like, let's be real. Sometimes I forget to like, but I always will at the end. So please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, because it's absolutely free to do. Let's talk about Mikel Merino, because we do not know what's happening here. We are trying to agree a fee. It looks like we're willing, according to Daily Mail, I think it said today, that Arsenal are interested in going up to as much as 35 million for Mikel Merino. There was reports of 17 million. Then there was reports of much more than that. Well, apparently we're prepared to be patient, and we are prepared to go in for Mikel Merino. It looks as if, though, it's probably going to get done, but when? Is my question mark. When is it going to get done? There's rumours that Edu flew out to Spain to chat to him. There's rumours that Edu has flew out to get the deal done. He's going to be speaking to Mikel Merino and getting him in to Arsenal. But how much for? Don't have a clue how much the bid is. Some are saying it's 25 to 30. Some are saying it's 30 to 35. Let's be real. Let's just get this done. We clearly want the player. If he's going to be that much money, we've got to get him. If we walk away from this now over £5 million more that they want, it will look absolutely horrendously embarrassing. And £5 million is not going to put us over PSR. Let's be real. And if it does, then we have messed up big time. And the Cronkies and the Edu need answering for big time. Because if we can only afford Calafiori and Merino this summer, well, one, we ain't winning the league. And 2, something's gone wrong with our finances, right? Because it's poor that Brighton can go and spend 40 million on a striker, and Tottenham can go and spend 60 million on a striker, and Neto can go and get 55 million on a winger, and they're all below us and haven't got Champions League football. Then why are we only able to spend 40 million on Calafiori and 30 on Merino, and that's it? What's happening? So for me, Arsenal's business ain't done yet. We're going for it, I am sure. After this signing comes through the door, they like to do bits one at a time. It just takes us so long. It really does. So let's see what happens there. After that, we definitely need some more business doing. Still don't know what's happening with Aaron Ramsdale at the moment. Obviously, there are some loan offers that have been flirted with. We would like a permanent deal. Aaron Ramsdale wants first-team football. I can only see this deal happening if there's a genuine loan with an obligation of around 25 to 30 million. If there's a loan with an option of 30 to 35 million, or if there is a permanent deal of around 25 to 30 million. But until that happens, I think Aaron Ramsdale will stay at Arsenal. And at the moment, if I had to put my money on it, I'd actually think that he'd stay at Arsenal, because we do not want to loan him out. It's not a try before you buy. This is a top goalkeeper. So it's one that you definitely signed. That's what I think anyway. And if no one wants him, he just stays. It's quite simple. It is quite simple. Reece Nelson and Eddie, I think they will potentially go somewhere. And I think that allows them room for a winger, for a striker. Are we going to get both, or are we going to get one? That is the big question mark. I think a striker is needed. Some people think a winger is needed. I would argue that a striker allows Jesus to be that winger option and cover for Saka. and that striker then starts, and I have Havertz, Trossard, and Jesus as the backup for that. That's what I would do. Victor Gyökeres is the guy that I would like. And there was reports yesterday that Arsenal were looking at him and trying to go in for Victor Gyökeres towards the latter end of the window. That is where my kind of preference is as we currently sit. So let's see what happens there. But there are some rumours suggesting, of course, from Sam C reports that multiple Premier League clubs are looking at Bruno Guimarães. Now, Manchester City's interest in the player is strong. However, Arsenal are also interested. Now, I'll be absolutely stunned if Newcastle were allowing Bruno Guimarães to leave at the end of this window. But a lot of Newcastle fans I've spoken to are very worried about it. Now, they're not worried about Alexander Isak or Anthony Gordon. They think they'll both stay unless a big offer comes in of 150 million for both the players. I don't think Newcastle are going to let them go, right? But Bruno Guimarães apparently is the one they're worried about, not because of bids coming in, because of the player himself. Apparently, there's not 100% concrete talks that he's 100% staying. And that, of course, has alerted the interest of Arsenal and Manchester City, who are both looking at this position. Now, Manchester City need him for Rodri's cover, but also for a player that can play alongside Rodri as well. Arsenal, likewise, are looking at him to play alongside Declan Rice and be that 6 and 8 that can be a box-to-box. I think he would be an absolutely perfect signing. But how much would he be? He's going to cost definitely close to 100 million. You know, it was a £100 million release clause. Nobody could afford that because of PSR. Now that it's gone over to a new PSR league season, what is that meaning for Bruno? How much would he be? Well, it's probably going to cost 80 and 90 million minimum to get Bruno anywhere near out of Newcastle. I just don't know that I can see that happening now. So that could be very, very interesting. So watch this space. What's going to happen with Bruno Guimarães? I think he's staying at Newcastle. Manchester City and Arsenal interested. Towards the end of this window, this could get tasty. Can you imagine if Arsenal pulled off a madness and they went and signed Bruno Guimarães and Victor Gyökeres after Mikel Merino and Calafiori? Everybody would be saying, wow, it's now a 9 out of 10. What were we panicking about? That's what I hope happens. I hope we're in a situation where Edu, who said, please be excited, you'll be happy by the end. Well, that would make me happy, Edu. That would make me happy. So go guy Bruno Guimarães or De Jong and Victor Gyökeres and Eze. That would make me very happy. That would make me very happy. Of course, it's not Football Manager. It's not FIFA, as people would say. But certainly that, for me, is the sort of window that Arsenal need to finish on, to be strong and go up against Manchester City. Big up to all of you for being here. There's 400 of you. That means there should be over 150 likes. But there's not. So please make sure, I don't know how I can beg this anymore, but there's over 400 people and only 100 of you hit the like button. That's terrible, people. Please just hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. It's absolutely free. And please hit subscribe. That's all I ask you to do. Like, subscribe, job's done. It's free. Please show your appreciation. If you do enjoy these streams that I do every morning, to hit the like button to say thank you. That's all I ask. Massive thank you to you guys as well for tuning in. Well over 400 of you. This is fantastic numbers for the morning show. So please keep them up. Thank you so much for them. Also, make sure you show Manscaped some love. Click on the link in the pinned comments. It will take you to manscaped.com. Do it after this. Go and select the beard hedger. It's 20% off at the moment. Make sure you do not miss that deal. And tonight, 8 p.m, we will be back. It will be a show which is going to be called The Weekend Preview. We're going to be having a weekend preview show every Friday night, which is going to be looking at a couple of the big games this weekend. Arsenal Wolves, Aston Villa West Ham, and Manchester City Chelsea are the 3 games we're going to be covering with panelists Lawless, Billy, Martin from Mancunian Way, Dan from the Chelsea community, and we've also got myself and Graham Brooks from AFTV that's going to be on at 8 p.m. this evening. So please make sure that you are there for that one. Big up to everyone for coming on. Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button whilst you are there. Just before you leave, hit like on your way out. Go check Manscaped out, and we'll see you next time. Take care, people.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.